Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal's sudden resignation announcement has created flutters in political circles in the national capital. The surprise move has left his rivals and critics both in the BJP and the Congress stunned. On the eve of his resignation today, there is flurry of activity being witnessed in the AAP camp, with all eyes now on one question: who will replace Kejriwal as the Chief Minister? The high decision-making body of the party, the Political Affairs Committee of AAP, met at the Chief Minister's residence. In a closed-door meeting, it was decided that after Kejriwal resigns tomorrow at 4:30 p.m., the legislature party meeting will be held to take a final decision on who will replace him.
उन्होंने पीएसी यानी कि पॉलिटिकल अफेयर्स कमेटी की मीटिंग बुलाई थी, जिसमें पार्टी के वरिष्ठ नेता और मौजूदा कैबिनेट के सभी मंत्रीगण मौजूद थे। मुख्यमंत्री अरविंद केजरीवाल जी ने सभी वहां पे मौजूद नेताओं और मंत्रियों से 1 to 1 नए मुख्यमंत्री के विषय में चर्चा की और कल विधायक दल की मीटिंग होगी।
So who will be the next Chief Minister of Delhi? Will it be Atishi, Saurabh, Gopal Rai or Kailash Gehlot? Or as some are speculating, is there a possibility of the Chief Minister's wife or even other names that are doing the rounds? But whoever finally occupies the top chair will be known tomorrow. However, political fireworks over Kejriwal's surprise move has escalated, with the BJP saying the decision stems not from morality but from political selfishness. Congress, on the other hand, termed it a nautanki or drama.
This particular decision of his does not stem out of morality. It actually stems from, I would say, political selfishness. Having said that, if he's very serious about having elections in Delhi, then why did he not dissolve the assembly? He made a categoric statement that the assembly is not being dissolved. He's not serious about having elections in Delhi early. Having said that, of course, the BJP is completely ready.
It's a big nautanki, so I don't take it seriously. So they don't have a alternative even remotely capable. Secondly, this is not a transfer of power. It's a transfer of shares. This is a profit-making company, Aam Aadmi Party. It's not a political party. So they will ensure that whoever is the new person who's coming in is capable of keeping all these secrets covered. And second is, there are various areas in which we know very clearly in Delhi where the coffers of the Aam Aadmi Party are being filled, that they continue to happen and continue to happen in the control of Mr. Kejriwal and his family and an extended family.
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Joining us now is Ishkaran Bhandari, Sanjay Jha, Ravi Srivastava and Guru Prakash continue from debate number 1. Let me start first and foremost with you, Ravi Srivastava. There are those who are speculating that why has Kejriwal now taken this decision? Is it because he realizes that the Supreme Court already has placed such tough conditions? And if this resignation was to happen, then perhaps he could have done so before going to Tihar jail, because as many have speculated, this has seriously impacted governance quality in Delhi.
You're right that why he has taken the decision late, but that there are certain background behind it. If you recall distinctly, BJP troll machinery, IT cell in last 2 years left no stone unturned to malign Arvind Kejriwal and ran a malicious campaign against him, calling him a kingpin, calling him a fountainhead, calling him a mastermind of liquor scam, etc., etc., and tried to damage his reputation, beyond redemption. But that's the reason I think Arvind Kejriwal took this, decision to go to the people. I mean, Supreme Court has already given the bail. That's the only thing Supreme Court could could do in this particular case. But as far as the People's Court is concerned, he has announced yesterday that he will go to People's Court and asking referendum on his honesty. It's the second time he has resigned. The first time he had resigned when the coalition with the Congress had broken in June 2014. The second time now he has resigned after 10 years. And with the motive, you have seen in last elections as well, he has gone to people and said, if I have walked, you vote for me, otherwise don't. And this time he is going with a simple punchline that if you think that I am honest, vote for me, else don't. So
Okay.
I think this is a This is his initiative which he has taken. And the question being is that why he did not resign for 177 days or 180 days or something like that. I think simple reason, because BJP is bent upon demolishing the Aam Aadmi Party, and that would have been a sign of the weakness had he resigned while in the jail.
All right. This would have been a sign of weakness had he resigned earlier, Ishkaran Bhandari, and the BJP has been demanding his resignation. So why complain now when he's actually tendering his resignation?
Madhav, let's not make a virtue out of what is a necessity. The Supreme Court conditions of bail are in effect a stay order on your ability to function as a chief minister. We have been on your debates, you have read out those bail conditions that you can't sign file, can't go to the office, etc. Effectively, that's a stay that you cannot perform as a chief minister. That is the basic. Now come to the second point. Once the Supreme Court says you can't perform as a chief minister, because that's the in effect, then there are two options. Either you take the Indira Gandhi option when Supreme Court gave a limited stay and you declare emergency in the country, or you have to resign. What is the third option left to a person who cannot perform as a chief minister? Now coming to the third aspect, why people are saying when you were in jail you should have resigned, because that was the moral thing. Before this, no politician, be it Mr. Lalu Prasad Yadav or be it other politicians who have gone to jail pending a conviction or pending trial, have always resigned. But this was a new politics by a person who came to change politics. He came to change politics of corruption. He made a new politics that forget a corruption allegation. You could be in jail, but you could still remain the chief minister. Petitions are filed in the Delhi High Court, and the Honorable High Court said we don't want to enter into these areas of what will be the cabinet, what will be the chief minister. And I agree with the judgment, because the chief justices should not be deciding the chief minister. It is left on morality. But when people don't behave by morality, then bail conditions come. So in the end, I will just say two things. One, it is a necessity. There was no option left. B, it's only 6 months left. So even otherwise, there is nothing much left, because soon the elections will be declared. And once he's outside, we all know how people control governments, how Dr. Manmohan Singh's government functioned under the UPA chairperson. That's documented by journalists of that time. So nothing much changes, but it's just a necessity.
Constitutional morality demanded that Kejriwal resign earlier, because Ravi Srivastava, going by your logic, that means Hemant Soren has proved to be a weak chief minister because he resigned before going into jail.
That is his decision, that how he made the other person a chief minister and he resigned and all that. That's not a question here.
All CMs who resigned before going to jail were weak by that logic. Not just Hemant Soren, Lalu Prasad, everybody.
Right. No, that is there. That is, see, against this, that he should resign, BJP proxy people went to court not once, not twice, they went thrice. They went to even Supreme Court. It was his constitutional right, which he said it, that you cannot force me to resign. I will not resign, because I know very well what you want to do exactly. I know your trials, I know your designs, how you bring down the governments. You have brought down 9 governments in the last 5 years. You have bought MLAs and you have demolished the parties altogether. This is what exactly you want to do to Aam Aadmi Party. This was the reason he said, okay, I will stay back. But after coming out, he has resigned. And as far as the bail conditions are concerned, I think my learned advocate friend knows very well that there was difference between the two judges. The other judge said that I don't agree with these stringent conditions. And had he wanted, he can always go in an appeal and he can get those stringent conditions waived off. Mr. Abhishek Manu Sangvi has said on camera clearly, he can sign the files and it will go to only LG. So there is no problem. But he wants to go to the people's court first before entering into any other litigation.
Okay. He can very easily get this relief from Supreme Court. He can sign the files. It will go to the LG. But he doesn't want to go to the Supreme Court. He wants to go to the People's Court, Ishkaran.
Mother, first, half knowledge is more dangerous than full knowledge, and that's been displayed. Yes, the two judges, in their opinion, had one judge has slightly different opinion. But what is the operative judgment now? Operative judgment is the conditions on bail. They stay in place. That is the law of the land. Second aspect, going to people's court is of course the right, but that does not exonerate you from legal trouble. We had Mr. Lalu Prasad Yadav. He was in jail. He won elections. Mrs. Rabri Devi became chief minister. Later on, and interestingly under UPA times, the court found him guilty. So your guilt is not determined by the people's mandate. That is only an electoral mandate. We are in a democracy. Courts have a different function. And elections have a elections have a different function.
Okay, I want to bring in Piyush also. Piyush is also joining us on the debate. Piyush, on the one hand, you have Arvind Kejriwal who's saying कि पैसे से सत्ता और सत्ता से पैसा इस खेल का हिस्सा बनने नहीं आया था. But while he is talking about ईमानदारी, the Supreme Court has upheld the legality of his arrest, which had been challenged. So what are we really talking about? There is a very strong case that is there. Otherwise, perhaps the court would not have put on such stringent bail conditions.
Well, the legality of the matter is going to be sorted out only when the final judgment comes. Till then, we can all, push forward our own ideas, our own ideologies, and our own beliefs. But unless and until the final judgment in this matter comes, then only we can talk whether who's guilty and who's exonerated. So I will not get into the legalities of that. I'm not a lawyer by profession. But what I deduce from the statements made by Arvind Kejriwal ji was that here is a leader of Delhi addressing his own electorate, talking to them directly, talking to his own volunteers and communicating in very, very strong words that I am here to knock on your doors. I'm here to communicate directly to you. I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to address all the problems once again, and I'm going to sort things out. And
so attempt to garner sympathy perhaps before the election, because the Congress and the BJP are calling this Nautanki.
I think it has a little bit more to that than just garnering sympathy. What I think, I've been trying to understand the resignation of Mr. Kejriwal, because like each and every one of us, it took me by surprise as well. So to my limited understanding, I think that he has been behind bars for the last 6 months. Before that, all this liquor policy scam, alleged liquor policy scam, kept him busy for the last 1 year or so with Manishji and behind bars, and then before that, COVID. So he has to establish that strong connect with the people of Delhi again. I personally do not believe it has something to do with the state of Haryana. I think first and foremost it has to do with the state assembly elections of Delhi, and then I think Kejriwal ji is looking for a much larger national role, and he is trying to play the role of the national convener of a national party with nationalistic ambitions much more seriously and much more strongly than what he has done so far.
Right.
So that is my limited understanding behind this. As far as who's going to be the chief minister is concerned, probably interesting times ahead. But I think it is going to be one of the.
All right. Let me bring in Guru Prakash on this note, because Guru Prakash, one of the things, while those bail conditions are very stringent, one of the judges at least had some very strong observations. Justice Ujjwal Bhoyan said that it is unhesitant view that the CBI's belated arrest of Mr. Kejriwal, and I'm paraphrasing here, is unjustified. I'm sure you would have come across those reports as well.
No, Madhav, I'm happy that you mentioned about the Supreme Court verdict, and I'm sure you would have come across the observations of Justice Suryakant as well. Justice Suryakant, learned senior judge of the Supreme Court, has categorically said he upheld the arrest of Arvind Kejriwal and has made a very direct observation that there was no procedural irregularity. But the different political point which you must understand here, Madhav, I was listening to People's Court. Arvind Kejriwal will go to People's Court. People's Court happened in 2024, no? 7 out of 7 parliamentary seats. Arvind Kejriwal's party lost. He got 0 seats. People's Court happened in 2019 as well. What happened? 7 out of 7 seats lost by Aam Aadmi Party. So this is just beyond my comprehension. This argument, today if you Google Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, what comes? Drama, PR stunt, television, cosmetic protest. These are become the parayavachi of Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, which you have to understand. Madhav, I come from Bihar. Today, Mr. Arvind Kejriwal is being perceived as a glorified version of Lalu Yadav and Mohammad Shahabuddin. You ask me why? Lalu Yadav wanted to run Bihar from jail, Shahabuddin wanted to run Siwan from jail, and Mr. Arvind Kejriwal wanted to run Delhi from jail. But unfortunately for Mr. Kejriwal, the court has categorically said, office nahi jana hai. The court has categorically said, sign nahi karna hai. Mr. Arvind Kejriwal is the biggest farce of Indian politics in the last 1.5 decades. Madhav, you take it from me in writing. Mr. Arvind Kejriwal from Aam Aadmi Party has been the sole exclusive supremo of his party since the inception of the party. कोई दूसरा अध्यक्ष ही नहीं है. आम आदमी पार्टी का एक ही मुखिया है, शुरुआत से लेकर के अंत तक वो अरविंद केजरीवाल है. कोई दूसरा व्यक्ति नहीं जो उनको मुख्यमंत्री काबिल मिलता है. आम आदमी पार्टी का एक ही मुख्यमंत्री है, एक ही पार्टी का अध्यक्ष जो अरविंद केजरीवाल है. And let me give this to you in writing. He is trying to manipulate public perception. But unfortunately, that is not going to happen because the DNA of the Indian voter, the DNA of the people of Delhi have now observed, assessed the working of Aam Aadmi Party. I was going through a report, Madhav, the 2015 manifesto of Aam Aadmi Party, 65% of the promises are pending. 20% of the promises, there is absolutely no progress. Okay. It's a leading India Today magazine.
Yes, I will come to that point because Piyush, the fact is this. The fact is this. Let me put that question across to Piyush. Piyush, the fact is this, that here's the BJP that's saying that the poor governance track record, Delhi's governance suffered very badly. And you would know about the widespread waterlogging, about the questions about why desilting was not done despite assurances, so on and so forth. And also, of course, the unfortunate death of students of the UPSC in the national capital, something that was pretty much unheard of, a very shocking incident. And, huge number of such incidents that took place, which many believe that had Mr. Kejriwal stepped down, if there was no issue related to the governance of Delhi, perhaps the situation would not have come to such a pass. And the BJP perhaps suggesting that that's the reason Mr. Kejriwal is stepping down.
Well, it's a valid question, and let me answer with utmost sincerity. You see, why People's Court is important? Why People's Court is important because the constitutional bench of the of Supreme Court adjudicated that the matters of the routine administration, day-to-day administration of the state of Delhi should be taken care of by the government of Delhi only, by the elected government of Delhi. What does the Honorable Prime Minister do? He passes an amendment. He takes it to the Lok Sabha and passes again the law and steals all the power from the Chief Minister. So if your officers are not going to be responsible to you, how can you ensure smooth functioning of the government of Delhi? That's why People's Court is important, number one. Number two, when you talk about the issues facing the government of Delhi, of course there are lots of things which are yet to be completed, lots of promises yet to be completed. And I really urge BJP to go to the electorate, to go to the people of Delhi and tell them कि भाई केजरीवाल ने आपके बच्चों के लिए स्कूल बनाए ही कहाँ हैं? केजरीवाल के जो 518 मोहल्ला क्लिनिक है वो तो फंक्शन ही नहीं कर रहे हैं, वहाँ तो दवाइयाँ ही नहीं मिल रही है. Fight the election on those grounds, no Baba. Fight the elections on governance issues. Tell them that these 100 doorstep delivery promises, the doorstep delivery promises of 100 documents that Mr. Kejriwal has promised is not being done, is not being taken care of, that Kejriwal is not giving you 100 200 units free, electricity free of cost, that Kejriwal is not giving you 700 liters of drinkable water per day. I'm just inviting the Bharatiya Janata Party, go to the people of Delhi and tell them कि भाई स्कूल आपके बहुत खराब हैं, मोहल्ला क्लिनिक आपके बहुत खराब हैं.
Guru Prakash, respond to that because the other issue that of course the AAP is going to certainly say is that these governance issues are not just because of the AAP's governance, because of the LG's refusal to comply with several of the schemes that AAP wanted to implement as well in the national capital. Guru Prakash.
Madhav, you cannot be selective about People's Court. लोकसभा चुनाव पीपल्स कोर्ट नहीं है, विधानसभा चुनाव पीपल्स कोर्ट है. ये तो बहुत ही कन्वीनियंस का आर्गुमेंट है. पॉइंट नंबर 2, we have to understand, Madhav, only a couple of years ago we saw MCD कर्मचारी protesting outside the residence of Mr. Arvind Kejriwal. Why were they protesting? Because they were not given salaries. The point we have to understand that you have come on the tall promises. Arvind Kejriwal and Aam Aadmi Party was a successful political startup. But unfortunately, now it has been 10 years. You have to prove what is your governance record. Like I recently quoted that out of 100 promises, 65 remains unfulfilled. On 20 promises, there were absolutely no movement at all, no progress at all. You will not cultivate leadership. You will not focus on governance. Sirf aur sirf rajniti karna hai. And unfortunately, when I say Mr. Arvind Kejriwal is a glorified version of Lalu Yadav, you have to understand, abhi for some election, the list of star campaigners came. Sunita Kejriwal was there. What qualification, what eligibility, what membership, what responsibilities has Miss Sunita Kejriwal in the development of Aam Aadmi Party? You have to understand. आपको सिर्फ और सिर्फ राजनीति करनी है.
Let me bring in Sanjay. Yeah, let me bring in Sanjay.
To PR stunt, Mr. Arvind Kejriwal is equal to emotional narrative.
Sanjay, the role of the Congress party in the national capital is quite interesting. Because here is a party whose leaders were the original complainants in the Liquorgate case. Yet when Mr. Kejriwal is arrested, sharing the dais with the Aam Aadmi Party at Jantar Mantar, to now calling all of this a nautanki. The Congress has done several somersaults in the midst of all of this and all of this talk of opposition unity, and the Congress and Aam Aadmi Party not even fighting it together in Haryana. What really is going on? Kabhi haan, kabhi na?
Madhav, I'm trying to answer your question, but imagine my predicament. I'm hearing another anchor of one of your programs speaking concurrently. So I'm hearing two voices and I'm trying to answer
I
your
apologize.
question.
We'll try and fix that. We'll try and fix that. Let me request my technical team to just fix that on air.
Yeah,
and we will immediately fix that. Yeah, but please answer the question.
Yeah, but let me try and answer the best that I can. The truth is that the BJP is so thick-skinned, it reminds me of a hippopotamus that I saw in Kenya a couple of weeks ago. You see, the CBI has been called as making an illegal arrest. And you have two champions of the BJP that I can see on my panel, immaculately dressed after a washing machine, turned out, apparel. That end of day, this is a party which has been accused of not just CBI, but the ED. In Sanjay Raut's case, the High Court said the arrest of Sanjay Raut was illegal. So when you have two gentlemen here on your program indulging in blatant post-truth, fake news and alternative facts, the BJP is so, shall we say, inward-looking today that they cannot see the reality. In the People's Court, Maharashtra is going to answer very soon in the month of November. And I'll tell you why Arvind Kejriwal's decision is a masterstroke. By preponing the Delhi elections, which I think is going to happen, I'll tell you it will be preponed, the Delhi elections will be preponed to the winter, and the BJP will find itself humiliated in Maharashtra, in Delhi, in Jharkhand, in Haryana, and in Jammu and Kashmir. And effectively, Mr. Modi will be headed for a resignation. And that is the likely potential future of this government, which is already as fragile as a house of cards.
Well, very interestingly, Sanjay Jha, several of your party's leaders, including Mr. Abhishek Dutt, who are live on the channel, including Sandeep Dixit, have all called this drama, Nautanki, several other adjectives. You're calling it a masterstroke. So, I don't know, perhaps they're all wrong. Perhaps they're all wrong.
I have my own opinion.
Yeah, no, you're entitled to your opinion, sir. But I'm just pointing out what the statements that have come in just yesterday over the last 24 hours are. But Ishkaran, quick response from you, since it's a case pertaining to the Supreme Court. Would you like to respond to Sanjay Jha?
Madhav's sly comments are the lowest level of debate, but then Mr. Jha can do no better. He is suspended from congressman. We have had the official view of congressmen on your debate, where they had said that you have to investigate and prosecute Mr. Kejriwal. Maybe that is why his independent view is fit for Kenya, where he can roam around, but it's not fit for India.
All right. Let's close the debate there. Let's close the debate. Ishkaran Bhandari, Guru Prakash, Ravi Srivastava, Dr. Piyush Joshi, Sanjay Jha. Very, very interesting. What will happen tomorrow? Will Kejriwal finally step down? Will he carry out what he has actually announced yesterday at the party office? Are we going to see a new name as far as the successor is concerned? All these are big questions indeed. I'd like to thank our viewers for joining us this evening.